Senator asked him, this is no lie, saw it on C-SPAN. Senator asked him, he said, sir, this is during the Ebonics debate. Negroes lost their mind. Some of the Negroes make the most money from Ebonics dogging it. Like Cosby. You dogging Ebonics and made that happen. Dumb down. Weird Harold. Mush mouth. I'm gonna be the back basumba. And now you mad at Ebonics, really? Ebony Fountains, 1975. Brother Williams. African American vernacular English. Zero copula. A copula is a form of the verb to be. We just get to the point. We erase the copula. We don't need it. I be going. I go all the time. And so we eradicate the copula, a form of the verb to be. We just don't need it because that zero copula is an instance of the linguistic transformation of the transactions between thought and reflection in America. And James Baldwin said the reason we use Black English is to communicate to each other while the dominant society was attempting to undermine us so they wouldn't know what we were doing. So that's why we be talking the way we be talking. We see got some lyrics. I'd rather be underground Christian clowns than in the pan sharing showers. I like Lil Wayne. I had to catch up with him a little bit. People was telling me, Lil Wayne, I said, what are you saying? I don't know, it's just the way he say it. What the hell are you talking about? What are you saying? I want some lines up in here. It's only right that I was born to use mics and the stuff that I write is even tougher than dice. I'm taking rapping to a new plateau, prove rap slow. My rhyming is a vitamin hell without a capsule. A smooth criminal on beat breaks. Never put me in your box if your issues tapes. That's the reason I'm detriment. But I was victim of a certain narrow conception of progress too. So that when I began to understand some of the more complex interactions between young people in the vernacular tradition, I began to understand how it was rooted in a preceding generation of linguistic transformation and transaction. And as James Baldwin said, the purpose of language is to communicate to those who understand it the purpose of their identity and the rationale for their survival. And so when I heard those folk using that language, the senator asked this commentator, he said, sir, when you went to French class, did they translate for you? He was trying to justify the white senator. Why didn't they know? Some people thought it was not a sign of progress, but a sign of the failure of Black people to integrate themselves into the larger linguistic facility of English. Senator said, did they translate for you? He said, no. Now you know you're lying. How you gonna go to French class and nobody ain't translate for you? And you ain't French or Haitian. The hell are you talking about? So when I dit ici, d'apprendre le français, c'est facile. Parler des langues de langue, alors tout le monde s'en sort pas. What? Huh? I don't understand. Can you congregate the river? Yeah, that's a church of meetings right there. And so, somebody got to break that down what that means. If you know what that means, either you're Haitian, or you're French, or you're Francophone, or you didn't have French before. Somebody helped you. And then the man said, dogging the Ebonics to the white senator, Senator, I'd like to make a specific point. Really though? And what is a specific point? Is that as opposed to an Atlantic point? That's the East Coast versus the West Coast up on the language? Using Ebonics while dogging it. Now I ain't saying you shouldn't be sophisticated. You better learn as many languages as you can. You better learn French and German, you better learn Italian, you better learn how to speak English. Right? You gotta do your thing. Speak slang too. I told my son, I ain't mad at you. Do your thing, but when you go to work, sell out. How are you in fighting? How are you? I'm great. Did you see the Brady Bunch last night? Oh my God. serious. My point is not to sell out, but you get my point. My point is, what is the conception of selling out? Compared to what? As they said in my generation. Make it real compared to what? So the point is that when we begin to understand the linguistic facility that we have deployed historically and the preceding generations who have done it, yes, there's been a sense of progress. But there's also been a sense of retrenchment, and what we have done is seen that so many people of means have now used their authority to hurt those who are vulnerable. So in this post-racial world where we want to give up being black, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be post-racial, I want to be post-racist. That's different. Because if we pretend that we don't appeal to race in order to understand and make arguments for distribution of really scarce resources, we're living in a world that's not real. But we can move toward a world in which we are trying to be post-racist, where the racial ideology of the prevailing cultures of the last 300 and 400 years do not dominate. And so post-racist is different than post-racial. Because many white brothers and sisters and others outside of minority communities think, well, I'm doing you a favor if I say, hey, I don't even know that you're black. Really, I do. And people keep reminding me I'm black. I be going along, minding my own business. Cop pull me aside. The car could be driving. I'm just being universal here. I don't drive these cars. But I've seen them on TV. Driving a nice car, living in a nice neighborhood, with the wrong kind of woman, thinking something somehow is amiss. Looking at the society in which we live, we're talking about a post-racist society where racial ideology prevails, where people, I don't want to transcend my blackness, I want you to transcend what you think about my blackness. We are not living in a post-racial era. Do we need to remind you of the disparities that prevail? Black men still going to jail at disproportionate rates. Black women still being demonized as welfare queens. People of color still receiving the last invitation to work and the first invitation to leave. If you got a black name, you might not get a white job. In a green economy? If your name is Shaniqua, give it up. Shanae, don't bother. Mustafa, stand at the back of the line. Muhammad, nigga, please. I'm almost done. But I'll tell you this. Three things. Is progress personal? Yes. In a very intimate way, it is personal. Personal because you and I have to appropriate the lessons and the struggles of our past so that we can help other folk in the struggles of the present. You ain't making no money just to be making money. Your pockets on swole. You got mad cheddar. Check cheddar like the food inspector. Nice whip. Kanye said you're driving a miracle whip. Car for those who are outside the linguistic capacity of the vernacular. Living in a nice crib, that means house. You got all that nice stuff, and it's nice to have it. I don't want to be poor, I got a PhD in poverty. Question is, though, what you doing with it? Are you really getting all that money to help yourself out? That's it? I got mine, you get yours. Is that really what it's about? Is it really only about you living in a nice house, multi-million-dollar crib, driving a nice car, wearing nice suits, wearing nice jewelry? Is that the be-all and end-all? Is that the summum bonum? As the philosophers used to say of your life, is that what you're about? Is that how you measure who you are? We go to church, we hear that prosperity gospel, get paid. Not the blood, not the sacrifice. Not the help and the service, but about getting your cash on. Using Jesus as an entrepreneur, as an icon of capital material accumulation. Is that what it's really about? Is that what Martin Luther King Jr. died for? Is that what Fannie Lou Hamer got beat for? Is that what Rosa Parks sat on that bus for? For you to get money and then dog somebody else? Because they ain't got what you got? Be careful, because you ain't going to keep it all the time, no way. And you might get fired, and you might get laid off, and you back in the unemployment line. And so, yes, it is personal, but that progress is personal because it gives young people the ability to see the face of tremendous success in a person like you who's able to reach out to them. You have no idea how many young people look at you. Some of y'all come from communities where you're the first one to go to college. They see you coming back, you're smart, you're good looking, you're intelligent, you're capable, you're linguistically facile in the best sense of that word. You're making an impression. They see the drug pusher, they see folk who using illicit means to get over. Then they look at you. You are a model whether you believe it or not. You are a role model whether you want to be or not. So you got to do something with that. Yes, it's personal because your face becomes the image they see when they try to imagine a different future. Number two, progress is personal to the degree that the collective and the institutional allows individual performance to shine. See, ain't no such thing as self-made in this country, even though we talk about it. You look at the finest historiographers that are coming out in the last 15 years, they have challenged this conception of American individualism. This John Wayne myopic narcissism. Acting like you just created yourself. Somebody change your diapers, homie. You ain't self-made. Somebody loves you, even if you were homeless, even if you were in the streets, right? At the fundamental level. And those people have had it worse than so many other people can imagine. But this notion of self-made is a mythology. Use this notion of progress, right? Because the notion of progress is the collective withers away and the individual rises. American democracy is predicated upon the ability of the individual autonomous moral agent to shine. John Locke linked a conception of democracy to property ownership and the ability of white men to exercise expression in the legal and the moral and the economic sphere. But dadgum, if you locked out by race or gender, you ain't even up in the game. So until somebody breaks those barriers down, your individual beauty and intelligence can't shine. So all I'm saying is don't act like you did it by yourself. Don't act like you all that. You are all that, but somebody worked for you. I did it myself. I despise affirmative action because it intimidates people into believing that somehow besmirching my character as if I didn't study hard. I get that, but give it up. It ain't like before affirmative action they thought you was geniuses. Right? They weren't judging black folk on no individual merit. The genius and the ingenuity of black people are seen as individual. The character flaws are seen as representative of the group. Right? If you want to go to Roy Booker like Anderson, they'll say, boy, these black folk must be cold. Must have systematic intelligence out of the kazoo. Must have deep and abiding academic impulses. And must therefore be amazingly brilliant at what they do, writing texts that are refined and civil in their discursive formations. That ain't what they're saying. They saying Roy Booker and Elijah Anderson, some brilliant Negroes. And they saying other black folk ain't the same way. Because that's why they surprised when y'all speak with them. Oh my God, you're so articulate. And we know what they mean. They don't mean no harm, but they're gone. Now we know they put people on TV Junior now. On the 5 o'clock news. Yo, what happened? Let me tell you what. I told that dude not to sell that weed. I really did. Now we know that Junior don't mean no harm, but Junior ain't representative, but Junior ain't got to be dog. But Junior then is put on, but they ain't putting on Bubba and everybody else on the Appalachian Trail News. The same way they represent blackness. So the interpretation of blackness by the narrowing prism and framework through which it is viewed happens to be a project of American empire. So the problem is, y'all, is that we don't want to dog children. We just want to say a whole bunch of black folk be doing a whole bunch of stuff if you let us have that opportunity to do the thing right. So when you get where you're going, don't act like Obama is a great dude, but he ain't the first dude that could be president of the United States of America. He's black. He's smart, he's beautiful, he's intelligent, but he ain't the first. Some of y'all gonna be president too, up in this room. Some of y'all gonna be president. One of y'all. Two or three of y'all. One of these sisters gonna roll up in here and be president of the United States. That's going to be crazy. Be at the press conference. I'm going to take my monoblanix off. If you ask me that question again, I don't care how smart you are, somebody helps you. I don't care how brilliant you are, somebody created a way. And if they didn't, and oftentimes they didn't have your education, oftentimes they didn't have your skills, but they made it possible for you to get them. And if what you do is turn around and dog them, you are an ingrate. You are incapable of acknowledging the source and the womb of your progress. So it's personal. But it's personal because the collective womb from which you emerge made it possible for you to achieve what you achieve. So my brothers and sisters, be a Trojan horse. I want y'all to be Trojan horses. See, I know I get into some places just on the looks there. He's light-skinned, curly-haired Negro. That don't mean nothing, but it means something to somebody. Because they think dark-skinned Negroes ain't. Well, yeah, that's it. That's it. Right? Suspicious, skeptical, barbaric, sexually promiscuous, and certainly not you. And light-skinned Negroes closer to masses. This is why Mr. Obama should have challenged Mr. Reed while accepting his apology. Right? That's what I'm saying. If you got light-skinned privilege, deconstruct it. You're the president of the United States of America. You know that a lot of folk didn't get what Harry Reid was really saying about you being, now you know they didn't say light-skinned, you know we said light-skinned. You're a light-skinned Negro. And some of the people voted for you because you married a dark-skinned Negress. They loved you for that. Oh, really? Oh, he was up in there with a real black woman. Now that's problematic too, because some dark-skinned black women get real unreal. Right? But what I'm saying is, well, since I done said it, Angela Davis was a light-skinned Negro from Birmingham. Condoleezza Rice is a little bit darker. I'm rolling with Angela Davis. With her pro, and her intelligence, and her power. So I ain't trying to locate the source of our energy in our skin, but you know what I'm saying. Light, bright, almost white got some advantages because they were seen to be closer to massa. Because we were products of interracial relations. They hated our bodies but loved our sex. We brought sexy back way before Justin Timberlake. I'm almost done, but I got to tell you this on Justin Timberlake. Justin got some skills, but how did he get over Janet Jackson can't do nothing? And he pulled the breast from his resting place. To the bathroom and missed it. Now I knew that the black nipple possessed the power to make America great. I just didn't know the rest of America knew that. And so they act like 1 second of Janet's breast has revolutionized American consciousness. While at the same game they got institutionalized hoochies called cheerleaders on the sideline selling Viagra in America. Didn't mind that who said he was kind of black. He was acting black. Boy got to move down. Oh, he's cold. But he retreated into whiteness. The moment his adopted blackness proved no longer a source of reassurance to the white audience that he was an emissary from one community to another. So his blackness was voluntary. Janet couldn't leave it no way. She born with it. So now he retreats into the sacred precincts of white privilege to say, I just was faking. I'm really not a black person. Then comes back to us to sell some more albums. Just because he got T.I. and 50 Cent winning. I ain't mad at y'all, but think critically about what that might mean, about what you're being sold in the heart of your very music that's been appropriated by somebody who